Blimey.
Right. Hello. Right. It's you.
It is me.
Episode 38.
Okay,
We've been doing this 38 weeks, 38 pods now.
38 years.
38 years. No, that's yours.
Yeah.
Right. Ladies Wot Pod, episode 38.
Yes.
Welcome one and all. We are today in the hallowed halls. Is that the right word? Anyway, an office in Radio Northampton because we're kicking off the season with Radio Northampton's Graham Keckney and his trusty sidekick, Lennie Newman. So
You got that right, sidekick. I'm glad you got that right.
I'm going to have words about that in a moment. But,
welcome, gentlemen.
good well,
Thanks.
Can we have
Say
a good
So
clean
we've got
fight
talent
here?
on this
Yes.
side.
That's clearly.
But
yeah.
pressing
I
on
can
this
see
side.
why you separated us now.
For those of you who are recently joining us, my name is Liz Saunders and I am chairman of the Saint Supporters Club, amongst other things, general rugby geek and all-round good egg, really. And this is my fellow lady, Wot Pods.
Hoping that the camera's working. 'Cause
This
that's
time,
fun. Yes. Yes.
Has that happened before then?
Oh, the last time we were with Graham, the software we were using said, no, you're not having a video. What you can have is half of Graham.
Yeah, it's my better half. Yeah.
No, she's not here.
So we've gone to the camera now.
Yep.
Yeah, we've gone posh.
And your name is?
Oh yes, Claire Jones. Worried about cameras as usual. Got a good start over the weekend, but we can talk about that in a minute. And yes, and I'm in Northampton, not in Cambridgeshire, which is where I normally am.
All together.
A well-travelled
Yeah,
lady.
we're honoured to have you here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on my way to Corby.
Oh.
Oh.
Yes.
No, for a reason. It's not like so.
It's not I'm going on a tour. No, I'm going to Corby because the Wheelchair Rugby team train them there now.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm going to meet a man with his van because he had the trophy lift at Twickenham added to the back of his van. The lovely Keith Fountain made a really nice donation to the
Trophy lift.
So, you know, as in, you saw it at Twickenham,
Yeah.
and the photos I took of it,
Right.
We'll
it's
go
on the back
slower.
of his van.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. With you.
Yes, I'm meeting him, and we thought we'd have a photograph with the Wheelchair Rugby, with his van, in Corby.
Good.
Right.
Right.
So we thought this pod, given it's this, you know, there's a couple of things we need to work. It's a preview of what we're going to go through in the next however many months, 10 months. It seems to go on forever.
It does seem to
Yeah.
go forever.
Yeah. So we thought we'd do a preview. And so this will be a practice run for you, because you're going to do a preview
In about an hour's time.
in about an hour's time.
yes, yeah.
There's somebody far more knowledgeable than us.
It probably could save us a lot of time in our
It's a warm-up.
It's
Pre-season for us, Lennie.
Yeah, it is.
It's pre-season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-season, yes.
You do realise the actual time it takes us to do the work for the Saints show, don't you? On a Wednesday. I mean, normally Graham and I meet at lunchtime, and then
Thrash it out, do you?
that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do actually have to do some work, Lennie. I know you just rock up at 6 o'clock.
I was going to say, Graham's eyes rolled so far back in his head at that point. I'm surprised they've come back round.
I have actually written some notes.
Okay, good.
We have actually had a
Fine.
pre-production
Yeah, we had a cup of tea
meeting.
at
Yes.
that lovely tea shop in Joel Street.
Yeah.
Very
Yes,
nice.
It was very nice.
Good.
Because
You can't mention it.
we knew we wouldn't get one here.
I just offered you one.
Why haven't you got some sandwiches?
Yeah.
Oh yes,
that's
last night, sandwiches, thank
They're
you.
good.
Salmonella
Yeah.
between two slices of bread, thank you very
Well,
much.
I mean, yeah, Phil Dowson won't turn down later. You what?
Right. Well,
Moving swiftly.
Yes,
moving
fine.
swiftly
It's
on.
your press for time.
So we had the hit out against Leinster on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
which was interesting. But we only saw some of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the questions I'm going to ask is, which player has got you all excited? Who are you most looking forward to seeing?
We spoke about this at the weekend. I think you have to look at people like Archie McParland.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's not a slow burning talent because he's still a young lad, but I think he showed lots of very, very good traits to make him really push for that second slot this year with Tom James and Alex Mitchell. I mean, you've seen Alex Mitchell, with the silver, and he's a proper world class player now. I think you can see that.
Yeah.
But Ashworth Parnell, I mean, everybody talks about Henry Pollock, and we're not supposed to talk about him, but I think the thing is that Henry Pollock is a really, really good rugby player, and I think all the Saints are trying to do is just make sure that his reputation doesn't come before. But everybody says what a nice lad he is. I don't see there being a problem there. Massive impact from, I'm talking about the youngsters here, Ruben Logan when he came on.
Yes.
Got the name, but I think he came on, and you want to see players really fighting for every blade of grass. And I think the youngsters, and we had, is it Callum Hunter-Hill?
Yeah.
A lot.
He was good.
I thought that lock combination with Chunna really worked
Chunna
well.
Mungra is a good player, and I think his opportunities now that Alex Moonham has gone, he has to step up and make that void his own. A lot of injuries in the lock department at the moment. You've got Tom Lockett, who I think's got a shoulder or a pectoral issue. You've got, we haven't seen Alex Coles yet, have we? He hasn't.
No, the England players. So Lennie's being entirely predictable as usual. I mean, I wouldn't say. I'll give you some other names.
You mentioned a half-back.
Yeah, but it's the names you expect.
I'm
I'll tell you who I think is going to be good this year, and he's the most senior player now. So I think Rory Hutchinson's going to have a big season. I think he is burning with indignation about what happened to him last year, his injuries. I mean, he's been relatively clear of injuries for most of his career.
It's so easy for me to mention.
Well, he didn't.
James Rahm to me was the best
Ram's the
player
other
on the
one.
bar.
And one day you will get his name right.
Ram.
It's not Ram, it's Ram.
Ram.
So I think Ram and Hutchinson are the two I'm going to look out for because we know how good they can be, and both had a relatively indifferent season, I think, last year. Hutchinson, he was. Do you remember? He was picked up for the Six Nations again by Scotland and wasn't used, and that just seems to set him back a bit, I thought, as it always seems to do. But they're the two, I think, who will come back challenging and pushing. I don't know where Ram's best position is yet, and I think that's part of his problem, perhaps. But I think in midfields, there's an opportunity. Birger Odendahl's injured for a while. I think Fraser Dingwall's probably starting, one of his starting centres pretty much every time. But I've always liked Dingwall and Hutchinson together, so I think he's going to have a big season.
Agree. Do you know, or was it Hutchinson only played 16 times last year?
Yeah, you heard that because I said it this morning on the breakfast show.
Yeah, amazing. He was listening. He was
Children,
Graham,
enough now.
where do you get knowledge from?
The internet.
I think there's a name we've missed, and actually I was at training yesterday and I witnessed him and Chunya really going for it, and that's Josh Kemeny. They were practicing mauling. I'm not surprised. After Saturday, I think there are a few things, maul defence as much as maul attack. And the two of them were going at it hammer and tongs. The facial expressions, I love a good facial expression, were horrific. They were going at it hammer and tongs. So I think those two, it's going to be interesting to see how they.
Well, I think if you look at it, with all the signings these signings we've had in the summer, Kemeny is probably the one with the biggest billing. So I think he's the one that's probably not pressure, but he's probably the one that really does have to step up because he's been brought in, if you want, to replace Lewis Ludlam. So that's the one that's really got to. The others, they're not. I'm going to say that they're not hit and miss, or I hope they'll make it. They're all going to be pretty good, but he's the one that comes capped first and foremost, and I think he's the one that you'll see making hopefully the biggest impact.
And the other one that's burning with indignation is Tom Pearce.
Missing out England.
He's a man who clearly wants to move them on. And he played brilliantly.
Yeah, he'll be more the same. He should have gone to England, or so should Kirsten like.
Well, I thought he was quiet on Saturday, Claire. Sorry to.
He grew into it.
He grew into it, but I thought in the first, I didn't really.
Did you not see all the unseen work he was doing then?
Well,
Was that
one of my common balls.
My issue was I kept having a left wing standing in front of me. I was like, get out of the way. I'm not doing any useful.
Did you not think that you could move?
Yes. Stop worrying about your defence, I thought he carried really well, particularly in the first half. I just got frustrated.
I think going back to Henry Pollock, I think the problem is not so much because he's a delightful young man, but he has a reputation, I think, for having a short fuse on the pitch, and they tried to wind Lens to try to wind him
right at the end,
didn't they? And I think
a bit of
that's the danger. Everybody needs to be sort of ready from his own team to jump on him to stop him doing anything daft in retaliation. I think that's the worry with Henry there, probably. But
I think when you see his style of play, he's a aggressive player and everything. I watched a couple of his clear outs, and it's just what you want. He's, I likened him to Budge Pountney. I think he's got that kind of thing. Can I tell you something about Budge Pountney?
I don't know. Can
you tell you somebody who has been mistaken for
Well,
Budge
two
Pountney?
people actually. So this time I'm going to jump in. So today when I was in the supermarket, someone with their trolley came over and said, "Did you used to play for the Saints?" I said, "No." And he said, "Are you sure?" I said, "No."
He said,
"Are you Budge Pountney?" I said, "I'm not Budge Pountney." But I mean, even worse was when we were in. It was the bar in Limerick. Whose players' bar was it? It was
Flannery's, yeah.
The Flannery's
Jerry
bar.
Flannery.
Jerry Flannery's bar in
He's
Limerick,
Irish, you don't have to
where a
know
Saints
it.
supporter came over. No, it was this Leinster supporter. Sorry, Munster supporter came over to Lennie and said, "Budge Pountney," and I texted Budge Pountney and said,
happy.
"Lennie Newman has just been mistaken for you," and he said, "You must be."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he out of therapy yet? Do you think?
Poor Budge.
I mentioned it to Budge as well, and he was not.
No.
I can see the resemblance.
Anyway.
Oh dear.
Given
So
we're
it
not,
never bothers David Ribbons, does it? Being
Never.
but given we're not supposed to be talking about Henry Pollock, you've just done a hell of a lot talking about Henry Pollock.
His play. That was it.
He's miles off being anywhere near as good as Budge Pountney yet. He could become that, but he's miles off
He's
yet.
only 19.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. Give him time.
Do you remember that first game, Bedford? Dave Ribbons made his debut.
I do.
I gave him a rap
Yeah,
then.
Dave
and I
Ribbons was
right.
22, 23 by that stage.
He's 19.
I don't think he was.
19. He's only 23 now. Is it too long?
Anyway, moving swiftly
Well,
on.
Moving swiftly on. Which
Do not look it up now.
So we've
husband and wife.
worried about players.
Yeah.
Anybody knows how old David
We've got some new teams that we're going to go and see. Not new, I mean, obviously
I'm
not
looking
newly
forward to that.
established.
Yeah, looking
So
forward
which games are we looking forward to?
To me, going back, I mean, I know this Friday is a friendly, but Bedford Northampton is wonderful.
Coventry.
Coventry,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Nottingham.
Coventry.
I think Coventry at Butts Lane, is it Butts Lane?
Butts Park Arena.
Butts Park Arena. To me, they get good crowds.
It's a good
now
crowd, yeah, it's a
already.
good club.
Yeah.
Bit of a B to get to.
It's not really. It's Coventry.
No, I meant once you're in Coventry's net.
Half an hour up the road, Lennie.
Have you never been to IKEA in
Expect
Coventry
to get
trying to get there?
Having been there several times.
It is.
I do think.
Claire,
It is quite easy to get lost in Coventry.
It is not the easiest place to get to when you're there, is it?
No, it isn't. Simply because it's 1960s roads where they fought randomly.
It is.
Yeah,
And you're on that ring road going, I want to be.
We're being terribly
What have we
racist
done
talking
there?
about the roads here.
You are not coming with me to Barker's, but
Fine.
go on your
I'll
own.
find it.
And
I've got something called SatNav. But look, I think it's a problem that rugby has had. One of the weaknesses of rugby, professional rugby in this country, is the lack of diversity of teams, isn't there?
Yeah.
Year after year. And it made it even worse in a way when they did Premiership Cup groups. You played Leicester again, and then Harlequins, and then whoever it was. Obviously we can't compete with football in terms of the breadth of opposition, but you want something different. And I'm looking forward to those games hugely. It's funny, when I was talking about it the other day at home, I was going through the calendar, writing fixtures on, and just writing Coventry and Nottingham. And who else?
Leicester.
Well, but you know what? I don't mind that too much. But having those games, it suddenly makes it something to look forward to. Whereas you're playing Quins or you're playing Gloucester, it's not like that. It's boring. It's boring.
So the joy. So I have been to because following Bedford, I have been to both those grounds. The thing I would say about Nottingham in February on a Friday night is please take your torches with you, because it is probably one of the darkest grounds.
Right. What, the floodlights?
Floodlights are old style.
Right.
You know.
No, great club at Nottingham.
Yeah,
played Nottingham.
And of course, with all the trauma that they had last season with the flooding, I think it will be a huge thing for them. It'll generate a lot of revenue for them.
Are they?
But it's a great ground because it's an old style, almost cricket style clubhouse that they built a stand in front of. So they sort of.
They're not at Beeston anymore, are they? I think I've been to there.
No, they're at Lady
Bay.
Bay, so they're just
Lady
literally
Bay,
next to Trent Bridge.
Yeah, no, I do. I have been there before.
So it's a lovely little ground, and I think it'll be a grand day, but do take it.
Nottingham, if you look at their roster of
They've got some
international players,
really good
Right,
players.
Rob Andrew,
Even in
that's
Rob
what
Andrew,
it
they've got
Yeah.
some very good players.
Rob Andrew, I'm not sure did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yes.
Gary Rees,
well, the England fullback, do you remember?
Hodgkinson.
Simon Hodgkinson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were a strong
sounds like a
club.
disease, but then he played there.
Yes.
It's
Dr. T knows them all very well because
in
the same
Hunter,
age.
Harvey
as
Thornycroft.
It's Harvey at Nottingham.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good club. So yeah, look, in answer to your question, I'm looking forward to those fixtures enormously. I'm not looking forward to the fact they're playing Bulls. They shouldn't be in the competition.
No, I
It's
think we all agree
ridiculous,
that.
and I'm
Yeah.
not looking forward to that one.
No,
And that's why I'm not.
I still wouldn't have them in the competition.
Well, they showed their disrespect for the competition when they came.
Yeah,
They sent a
they
beat
did.
to Franklin's Gardens in the quarterfinals.
Stade Francais.
Also, the crowds in South Africa don't seem interested.
No, they don't.
So they should be in.
Why would they be? You know, it's just
But it's
ridiculous.
Stade Francais on the other hand.
Stade Francais.
No, that I am
on
looking
the other
forward
hand.
That is
Yeah.
really a
Yeah.
belter of a game.
Yeah,
yeah.
And somewhere very
Yeah.
pink.
Have we played them before?
No.
No.
Are you sure?
No, did we not? It was them we
There
played.
was a knockout
Knockout.
match.
They came to
Oh.
us.
They came to
Oh,
us.
they
They
not
came
played-
to us.
I
They
thought
came to
we
us.
played them, yeah.
Not
At home.
there.
At home.
Played them at the
We've never
park.
been-
I
we've never been to
always
Paris.
remember Sergio Parisi playing in that
Yeah.
game.
And
In
it
that
was,
very pink.
it was an awesome
Yes.
night.
It was.
Very warm.
Very warm.
But it was right at the end of the season, wasn't it? It was an extra one, the
It was.
knockouts that you got
Yeah.
into.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
But to go over to there, that will be
That'll be
Very
good.
And
exciting.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Paris is
Yeah.
a wonderful city.
Yeah.
We're going to divert to Versailles. We're going to Doctor Strange.
Very
We're
nice.
going to have a look at
Yeah.
Versailles. Yes.
We will be diverted to a wine shop.
Well, we might do that as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're driving, aren't you? So
Yeah, well, for that very well, we're going to go. Graham will be proud of me.
with some
We're
wine.
going to go and look at some battlefields as we
Oh,
go.
Very good.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Well, we want to go and look at the new memorial in Normandy.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the D-Day memorial. And then we haven't really worked out yet, but
Go to Agincourt.
actually,
Just
oh, we're
a
going
good
even
friend.
further back.
Yeah.
That was a battle there, wasn't it?
Hell of a battle.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good day. We really showed
We
the French
there?
that day. Yeah, we really stuck it to the French.
Our arrows did the work.
Yeah.
So we've done games, we've done players.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to?
I
Take
think
everything in the
I
round.
think
what, you most
what I'm looking forward to is to see if we can continue in the same vein that we left off, or whether we will suddenly become a known quantity and science will have worked out how to stop us. To me, that's the big challenge: is to ensure that, because there's no way the coach can say, right, shall we change things for this year then?
For the hell of it.
Why? You've got to be
You'd have to change
You
it
know.
from pre-season as well,
Yeah.
given what we saw. Yeah.
big season for Lee Radford, I feel, to make sure that we, because it's no good staying as you were, we've got to get better in every aspect. If we
And that-
really,
And that was a mistake from 10 years ago, I
I'm
thought.
finished, but go on.
Yeah, you had finished. That was the mistake from 10 years ago. Do you-
Lovely.
I remember
Just
they
jealous.
almost. I remember Jim almost made virtue in the fact he was happy with his squad.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not changing anything.
Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah.
And everything did stay the same. The coaching stayed the same. The club stayed the same, and it worked for. You know, I remember that following season when they were reigning champions. They were really good up to Christmas. Do you remember they beat Leicester when they were down to 14 after Dylan got himself sent off again?
That doesn't narrow it down, does it?
Yeah. Jamie Elliott, I think, scored in the corner, didn't he?
Yeah.
But they weren't very good after that. The second half of the season, they finished top of it. It fell away. When they lost in that semi-final, it wasn't that much of a surprise, was it? It was
No.
disappointing.
Somehow the heart had gone.
It felt a bit like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
It
Sarmix,
felt-
you remember Mr. Manoa went back to the States around Christmas. I think there was a family crisis, and he injured himself on the plane. So
I
we
don't
lost-
remember that.
Yeah, no, I remember these daft things that I remember.
Well, he
And
was,
so-
he was leaving as well at the end
He
of the
was
season,
leaving at the
and he
end of the
didn't want to
season.
go, and there was all sorts.
And so it all sort of started to unravel.
It
very,
did.
very
Yeah.
quickly.
And that is obviously, as Lennie said, that's the key. That they don't stand still because, you know, Bath are going to be really strong this year, aren't they? The other teams, Saracens will be strong this year. Leicester with Michael Checker in
Leicester
charge.
are going to be the one to watch, I believe, in the Checker.
I don't think yes. It's going to take them a couple of
I
years.
don't know, yeah, I'm going to say it's Michael Checker, but who's he got?
He hasn't
playing
got
for
a
him, you know?
squad.
Yeah.
I disagree because I think Checker is one of these guys
Gets
that
the
will
best
get
out
the
of it.
best out of whatever you've got there. And the word on the street is, I meet with some old Tigers players, one of our own, Dusty, we'll call him our own now, Dusty.
Dusty, oh, bless him.
He was Nottingham.
He was,
Nottingham.
yes.
And you know, the word on the street is that Checker is really in control because it has been said in the past that quite a lot of the senior players, and this is over the history of the club.
Well, the Youngs
really.
brothers specifically
Yes.
run that.
Probably Young brothers and your Coles and people
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it's Young brother now because poor old Tom is retired, didn't he, 2 years ago to go back to the farm. So I think there was always has been a lot of player power in that dressing room. I think Checker's come in, told them that their told them that their
Don't know you.
academy is not
Yeah,
up
this-
to
I think it's
scratch.
Checker
No, but what I'm
you're
saying
Yeah.
is that a Checker will not take any prisoners.
Yeah.
So this is Claire asked the question, what are you most looking forward to? And so far it's Leicester being good again.
No. I was telling you what I was looking
disappointed
forward
in you,
to, and you butted in.
No.
Stole my thunder.
You're becoming so
No.
you're becoming so anti-Saints recently. I've noticed it.
What are you looking
What am I
forward
looking
to?
forward to? Well, I mean, it is the trips, I've got to say, because, you know, the away trips, they were special last year, weren't they? Limerick especially, and Croke Park was mind-blowing good.
Yeah.
And all
The 8 hours on the ferry was worth
but those
it.
COVID years, that COVID season and a half really, where we missed out on away travel
Yeah.
and missed out on European travel, it was heartbreaking really, because that's the best bit about this job, is travelling around watching the Saints away,
Yeah.
doing the show from pubs in Limerick or Paris or Dublin or wherever, and seeing the fans having a great time. That's what I'm most looking forward to, by far, is those trips.
I think the other thing as well is that we were talking about when we were in the Premiership before under Jim Mallender. I think you got a lot of players then that were not really coming to the end of their careers, but very near to that.
Just on the
On the cusp, if you want.
Yeah.
Whereas I honestly believe that a lot of the players you got, like Finn Smith, even Alex Mitchell is now a little bit older.
Oh, he's very worried. He's going to be 27 or something.
And people like Pearson and that, they will want, as Graham just alluded to, that Croke Park feeling.
Well, and what they've got, and the other thing I'm most looking forward to this year is seeing how many of them go on the lines at the end of it. Because
Yes.
I think there'll be a few.
Yeah, I do.
think, you know, you look at it.
I do.
We know from a Lions year, things change enormously. And there's a few bolters and there's a few certainties. But I'm looking at that. I think Mitchell at the moment, I think Furbank, and I think Freeman, and I think Laws will go as well. And there might be a couple of others.
Laws will be dependent on
if he's
fitness.
fit. Yeah, of course. If he's fit, he could be captain.
Yeah.
Could be. That'd be a story, wouldn't it, eh?
I'm looking forward to, because if you look at last season, Saints were not selling out the ground at the start of the season. They are selling out now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to actually finding out which game when Franklin's Gardens lets rip. Because, we had 9,000 people
That's pre-season.
as a pre-season friendly. I can't remember, even in the good old days, I can't remember 9,000 people coming through the door for a pre-season friendly. And it looked brilliant. It looked absolutely brilliant. And so, having a sold out, obviously, Mark Darwin, seems to be Julia Chapman, be pleased, cash register ringing, but that will help the players. Fortress Franklin's Gardens is helped by 15,000 people going nuts every time.
Well, last year was the first year that we actually did really back the terminology of the Fortress Franklin's up, because before that it was a bit of a sandcastle, wasn't it? Where they came.
It was a bit,
kicked
it down quite often.
Whereas, size have took us very close, but one of the greatest things about last year was our ability to not panic when we were behind.
Well, I'd say as well, Lenny, that I haven't heard Franklin's Gardens as loud as it was last year since they built the Barwell stand. And since they added 2,500 or whatever it was, the 3,000.
The Saracens game, you mean, don't you?
Well, actually, I was thinking probably the Munster game. And actually, even before that, do you remember Toulon, just before Christmas?
Oh, yes, that was
it was so loud.
Yeah.
And I don't think I remember at that Toulon game saying it hasn't felt like this Probably since the season they won the Premiership and maybe even the semi-final. And so, and you remember that was the old Sturridge.
Yeah.
So
Graham and I were always advocates of don't move the Saints from a 3 p.m. Saturday. But over the years, we quite like our Friday night.
I don't like Sundays. I love Fridays.
No, Friday nights has got
Occasional Friday nights are really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot. We've got a lot of Friday nights.
We have got a lot. We've gone very Friday night, haven't we? TNT clearly, and what are they called? Premier Sports.
Yeah.
New,
Premier Sports, the new one.
Don't watch it. Listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm there, so you know.
So am I. So
there's no need
not
for
an
TV.
issue.
I'll tell you now, there's no need for TV. It's boring watching TV. You need to listen
I
to
do
the radio.
have, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes when you've been there, it is nice to watch it back to see if to see where the referee was right after
I have
all.
tried syncing up your commentary with the TV.
You can. All you do is press pause for 2 seconds.
Oh right, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones is going.
You go 1, 2.
You heard it here
press
first.
Yeah, no, I had to see
it works a treat. It does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think your commentary is just it's priceless. A lot of it, to be honest.
thank you.
It's, sometimes you know what's going on in the game. Other time you just argue amongst yourselves.
The other thing I'm looking forward to is us on the road again, because one of the things that changed last year was we became absolutely determined on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some shocking weather on the road. If you remember.
Yeah.
Newcastle, Exeter, Munster, horizontal rain.
Yeah.
It's always horizontal rain in Munster.
Oh, that was special. No, even for Munster, that was special.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I think.
So, you know, our ability to go and get it on the road, I think. But the place that shall not be named, Bristol.
Because Bristol, we
Saints
just
don't do well though. Yeah.
no, it's just been
Well,
it's been a catalogue of
we've
disaster.
always either been sent a very weakened side. I mean, we were straight back off the. Was it a 3-week off period that we had, and we.
Yeah.
7.
Was it
7?
Seven,
Yeah.
I think that's the first time where I'd heard the coaches say, I think we got it wrong tonight with their build-up. And I think they probably did. I think you've got to probably be a little bit more attritional. And you heard Cobblers coach John Grady saying earlier today that, you know, they've only had a week off, but you never quite know who's going to come back, whether the rest will do them good. Or
Some it'll do good.
Historically, you've really got put the players through the mill a little bit in that last week to get them back into condition. But you talk about Bristol, that they kind of fall into the history. But Exeter away, you know, before the Munster game was the one where at half time it looked like we were dead and buried.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
For half time.
Just for half time, isn't it?
Just
Yeah.
And
was it about 22?
Callum
28-0 down.
And then,
Right?
so yeah,
6-0 down.
6-0 down, and then
Couple of tries
Brayley
before
scored
Dr. Jones was losing it behind me.
I was in my sewing room.
You're in the sewing room hiding.
I'm not listening to them.
To me, that's where the strength of our bench really did come to the fore. You know, they all came on and turned it around, and it was just a wonderful place to be because you could feel it happening.
I think you're right, but I know we're getting off track here, but I still say at the moment I thought Saints were actually really good. It was Glasgow away.
Oh yeah.
1-1. Well, that was a really good Glasgow side, which they absolutely pulverised them.
Yeah.
And that was the point where I thought
Again,
they could win something.
Awful
Yes.
conditions.
Awful condition.
Yeah.
And that was where as well you really started to see the Lee Radford effect.
Glasgow was shocked.
Yeah,
They did not see that coming.
they thought, they've got a soft underbelly.
Bit soft, exactly.
And we can run at them, and they'll if we keep running at them, they'll give in. And that was really where you thought, right, Lee Radford, you have made such a difference here because it was no.
And did it come the week after losing to Leicester? Might have done, or maybe 2 weeks after.
2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah, it was around.
Yeah.
But that was the turning point.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're sorry.
And it's absolutely, and they were the URC champions in the end.
Yes, they
Yes,
were.
they
They were very good.
And hadn't lost at home for 2 years.
Yeah.
Which
But that Bristol game, I can't remember who I was talking to. Somebody, one of the players who said he'd been talking, I know who it was exactly, who got a friend who played for Bristol, and he said all the whole build-up for Bristol was about beating Saints. They didn't care what happened afterwards. It was all about beating Saints on that night, whereas I think we probably were playing the long game, and Bristol were just going hell-bent on.
And it was their first double because they beat us at home.
Which that was ridiculous.
Yes, but it was my 500th game, that's why I remember it.
That's right, yeah.
Anyway.
It's all about you, Claire.
It is, it's not about me, it's actually a hat. It's I'm tyrant. That's a hat's a tyrant.
So your next question, Mrs.
Yes.
J, what else have we got there?
Oh, well, the renaming of Twickenham, discuss.
Well, I feel the same about it as the renaming of Franklin's Gardens. It doesn't bother me.
It's always be Twickenham.
No one's going to call it anything else other than Twickenham.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think the only thing I would like is could they have called it something else?
You know
they
what?
found a different company.
What is it? Who is this?
Alex.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Well,
The only time it ever
stadium.
sticks is when it's when it's a new ground. On Lansdowne Road is University of North Viva now, and the IRFU have been very strict with journalists. Very strict over the years. You will lose your accreditation.
Oh, really?
Except they still use that. They have done. Used that as a threat.
Yeah.
what if you don't call it?
It's the Aviva Stadium.
Yeah.
And I totally respect, I understand that the game, I see it from both sides. I see the game needs the money. And also, these companies, like Cinch, like Aviva, are spending a lot of money on our game. So it's a price we have to pay. The reality is, I'm not going to call it anything else other than Twickenham. I can't really call it anything else other than Franklin's Gardens.
I think
That's the reality.
you could also just, with the Gardens, you could start off with Cinch Stadium at Franklin's Gardens. Right, that's got that out of the way. We'll just carry on calling it the Gardens from now on. You know, it's sort of like like curtsying to the king. Well, you wouldn't be doing that, but you know, when you see them first, apparently, once you've curtsied or bowed, you don't have to do it again for the rest of the day.
Well,
so I see that we see with the Cinch Stadium.
And also, there's a little, with Franklin's Gardens, let's not forget it's named after Mr. Franklin's hotel in the first place. So it's always been a sponsor there.
commercial.
And it didn't know it for very long.
Yeah.
And
there were bears.
I think where it works, as Graham's just said about it, is that, and I look back at, when they first built the Rico Coventry. That was always the Rico.
It's still the Rico. I don't know what it's called now.
No,
What is it called? It's now
Coventry
called the Coventry Building Society.
Walker's Stadium, Leicester. It's hard to get rid of those.
It is. So when you've built something like that, you drive up the junction 3 on the M6 and you see. Well, you don't see Rico on there anymore.
No,
but to me, if somebody said, there's a Bruce Springsteen's playing at Coventry, was it the Rico? Oh, it's still that, so they're branding there. But to me, yes, they'll call it the Allianz Stadium for all marketing purposes and things like that. But to us, if somebody said, where are England playing this weekend? Oh, they're at Twickenham.
Are you going to Twickenham? That was, are you going to go to the Allianz? No, what?
So supporters from away who probably come for the first time, they'll probably see Allianz.
No, it's Twickenham. Even everyone, I can't believe it.
Put it this way, again, just to finish on this point, where do Wales play?
Millennium
Stadium. But it's not. It's now the Principality, but it's not.
Well, to me, it's still the Arms Park.
Yeah.
So I'm that old.
Well, there you are. Yeah, but
there you go. So, thought we should talk about the match coming up on Friday.
I think you're going to ask about the grass.
No, don't be silly. We've put that one to bed. I think a lot of people have said to me about how now they've seen it around the ground, seen it it's growing on them, and seen it being used in different things as well, like on the Toblerones, where it's being
This
used.
lady has the best implementation of the crest.
Oh well, it's the IT department.
The IT department's harpsichord.
He's restoring a harpsichord, and on the music stand for the harpsichord, he's done some woodwork with the new crest.
That's good.
Well, you couldn't have done that with the old crest, not unless he was bringing Gibbons.
I love it. I think it's the right thing to do. The old crest will never ever die.
No,
it's part of our history, part of the shirt, part of the structure of the club. I like it. I like the fact that the club have had the most successful pre-season ever in the retail side of things. And Saturday, we know the figures, but it'd be very rude of me to say it, but they broke records on Saturday with sales in the shop. So I just think it's a real positive. I think they're at something like 9 or 10 times the sales of just the shirt on its own. That's not because of the badge. I think the shirt's nice as well. But looking at it from the other point of view, it certainly hasn't put people off. And I'll tell you now, there's people wearing that badge who said, I'll never wear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know it's good because Dr. T went and spent his own money on the shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that
Good.
never happens. He was still wearing the lime green.
Yeah.
He was,
Yeah. So he went out and spent money. So, and the other thing, talking of our history, I noticed something on when we were there last Friday, didn't I? The honours board outside
The changing room.
has been updated with Dr. Jones's new
Brilliant.
figures. So they've updated the list. So A. Yorton is now something like 114 times.
Do you know Graham has never spoken to me about this, Graham? Do you know that?
I'm astonished.
The new numbers.
The
that
Roman
they found.
numerals.
I have. He just doesn't listen.
Yes. But I was so impressed. I congratulated Liz. I said,
you
you've
got
updated them all.
emotional, didn't you?
Yeah.
I still get emotional every time I go in the changing room and see my Albert's name up there.
Yeah. So, but a couple of things. I was talking to Nathan Smith yesterday at training, and I said, oh yes, of course, it's the Mob Memorial match on Friday.
For the watching.
Nathan Smith is the Loughborough Lightning head coach. I think that's his title. Director. No, he's head coach. I think. And he was watching training yesterday, and I said, oh, it's the Mob Memorial match on Friday. And he went, can I ask Claire, who's Mobs? And I said, oh,
Nathan,
yes.
take yourself to one side.
Well, you know what?
Speak
Look
to
what
Graham.
happens. I'm doing talk tomorrow at Franklin's Gardens, so send him along to that.
Okay, right, you heard that, Nathan, because I'm sure he listened.
On Friday.
Friday,
Talk.
okay.
What time,
But I
Graham?
did explain.
Not sure.
He was amazed and impressed.
Good.
He was really impressed with the connection of the history of the club. So that I thought it was great.
Good.
And I like the fact that the Mobs Memorial Match has a proper home at the start of the
I
season.
think it's the right place.
It's the right place. It's two fine old clubs. who
We were
know each
talking
other.
about it. I've been talking about this for a few years, really, and it felt like it was on its last legs.
Yeah.
It didn't suit the Army. It didn't suit Saints either to have a midweek game. You're never going to get first team players involved. Makes far more sense to me to have a pre-season. I like the fact it's Bedford. You know, I remember talking about this a long time ago because Leinster often a pre-season game, and Leinster would have been quite nice. Without getting too bogged down, the
Because
Leinster,
we did a lot with the
Leinster battalion on the left flank of the 7th
yeah.
Phantoms and Mobs. Anyway,
on more
Bedford,
than one occasion.
Bedford make total sense, and it's it should keep the game going for another generation. I think.
What people forget is that during my playing era, if you said, this was before the advent of leagues, if you said to a player, what games do you not want to miss during the season, one was Bedford Rangers away in Dublin, which we played for obvious reasons, and the second one was the Mobs Memorial game, which was predominantly 3 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. All the schools in the area would get free tickets to come and
It's
watch
always in
it.
March, wasn't it?
Always in March,
Yeah,
around about
February,
March
March,
15th, 16th.
Because one of the great myths you hear is always like a trial for the internationals. It's like, but it was after the Five Nations.
Well, it was, but it was actually where,
It was international quality.
it was the
So
Barbarians.
when was your first Mobs game? Would you guess? 1980? About that sort of time?
Yeah, 81, probably 80, 81, yeah.
So here's a thought for you. That's 63 years after Mobs died. There might have been people watching you who watched Mobs play.
Yeah.
If they'd gone there to Franklin's Gardens as a
child,
even as a teenager.
Yeah.
So people who watched Lennie Newman
You
probably also saw Eddie Mobs play.
So
Wow.
all this does is make me really bloody old, doesn't it?
Well,
It's a weird thought, though, isn't it? It's a weird thought.
I was
It
telling
is.
Graham the other day, there is still a connection as well with the Mobs
Yeah.
family, because one of Edgar's great nephews, Jerry Mobs, his wife, is the childhood best friend of Finn Smith's mother.
Good.
Well, I'll tell you,
Wow.
here's something, Graham, and
Simple.
you'll know this, is that
Oh,
they,
no,
they
I was
didn't
gonna say
allow him
one
at the
resident,
time,
Jerry.
but I know he was like a fourth official because they wouldn't let him run the line because it was a proper international game when you play the Barbarians against the East Midlands. But George Adkins, who was a linesman for the Saints, played for the Saints as well. He would have definitely have probably seen.
No, you wouldn't have seen him, Lennie. I don't think so. It's a
Why?
good question. George Atkins would have been old enough. So he was a prisoner of war in the Second World War, George Adkins.
Right.
So
he was in his 80s when
it was nearly a brilliant anecdote. It doesn't quite add up.
Anyway, sorry, I tried.
But no,
George
that's very
Adkins-
good. No, I like
George
that.
Adkins-
Yes.
Stato has put me to the
George
floor.
Adkins famous for riding his motorbike into the sun.
Salon.
Yeah.
And drinking copious amounts of whiskey.
We've
Wow.
had some good stories. Do you remember we had Roger Horwood on
Yes.
the Saints show last season? And off air, some of the stories he had to tell, including ones about George Adkins.
They were very good.
The one I will tell you, do you remember he said to us when Roger turned up for his first game for Saints, he got there really, really early. So he was that nervous about playing. And the gates of Franklin's Gardens were padlocked. And he said the George Adkins turned up not long after. And Roger said, gates padlocked, George, what shall I do? And George picked up a brick and he went over and went tap, and the padlock sprung open. And Roger was amazed, saying, how on earth did you do this? And I'll remove some of the expletives, but he basically said, the Germans couldn't keep me in a prisoner of war camp for 3 years. This little padlock's not going to stop me.
That's brilliant.
Excellent.
Oh, my.
Excellent. So going back to the game on Friday, I actually think if I were Saracens, I'd be slightly nervous about this season because the match that Liz and I watched on Friday,
Yeah.
I think Tom Cruise's time as forwards coach, he's got off to a really good start because
He's born to coach, wasn't he, Tom Cruise?
Yeah,
What a top
they gave
Lovely bloke.
that Saracens pack a bit of a scare.
They did.
So I don't think Saracens would have expected to be going into the hutch at half-time losing.
No.
And Bedford deserved their lead. And Saracens looked at 6s and 7s, and it wasn't because they played the kids, they didn't. Elliot Daly was out there, Andy Christie was out there.
Oh, there was talk about expletives going on.
Oh yes,
Elliot
yeah,
Daly.
it was blue.
Not happy.
Alex Lazowski got marched back twice
Yeah, and
by
Jared
Andrew
Grant.
Jackson because he was getting so frustrated what was going on. They had their new fly half, I can't remember his name, he was playing. It was Van Zyl was playing. It was all going.
Tompkins was playing.
Tompkins was playing. It was very, very strange. The best bit, and there was the biggest cheer of the evening, when Mr. Lazowski got binned in the second half because Mr. Jackson had finally had enough of him and sent him for a sit down.
Will we see Jamie playing? Will he be involved?
Jamie came on in the second half, so I would imagine.
I'd love to see him play.
And we might see, of course, brothers on opposite sides again, mightn't we? In the hookup position.
Oh yeah,
So
the
have
Langdons.
Nathan,
I think you'll definitely see Nathan Curtis Langdon,
So who else is there from Saints?
Jake
Wolford, Alex Wolford,
Glister,
Jake Garside.
Jake
Jake
Garside, who
Garside.
scored a brilliant try on
Garside,
Friday.
I think there'll be half a dozen Saints players there playing for Bedford. The thing is, Bedford have, without doubt, been the most, if you want, semi-pro side in the whole era of the championship.
They know what they're doing, don't they? It's a
Exactly.
very, very good
Mark
job.
Raya is
Yeah.
one of the best operators. I think he's must be now the longest serving.
Do you know what
Championship.
they've never been seduced by the bright lights of the Premiership.
No.
They've lived within that. It's a really, really well
It's a
run club.
great
So,
club.
it's a cracking
Yeah.
place to
Yeah,
go.
it's
And
good crowds.
The chips
Yeah.
are marvellous.
And it's 3,500 there on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I bet you 2,000 of those will travel along.
Or at least.
Oh, yeah,
At least.
One of my favourite photos from last season was when George Hendy scored his try, the first one, in the
Yeah.
corner. He's all arms and legs. And in the background are the friends of Bedford Blues leaping
Yeah.
up. And they've all got their Bedford Blues kit on because, of course, George had been
Well,
playing for them.
it's wonderful
Oh.
to have that relationship back because you mentioned earlier about Saracens. That was the biggest travesty ever
Yes.
when we had that relationship. We fell out totally during the Jim and Nobby era. And that, to me, that was wrong. That was
Yeah.
very wrong. So to get that, actually, it was Chris Boyd which started that back up, wasn't it? Getting the relationship going.
I think I wouldn't blame Jim and Nobby for it either, by the way.
No,
I wouldn't give Boyd all the credit. There's lots of other people in the background.
Look, there is, and then there's the other side. There's the other factors to take with the Bedford. But we didn't. When we lost that relationship, we never tried to get it back. It was very much well, we're the Saints, and it's really. I mean, the demise of any real Wanderers games really up the ante to have that association. But you wait Friday, it will not be one-way traffic for the Saints. And
No, not at all.
I expect the Saints probably to go Bath strength, first half. I think they really will go because I think all the international
Son might be back.
I think
Fraser Dingwall and maybe Alex Coles.
I think you'll see. I think you'll see a back line.
I don't think they're allowed to play.
Oh, I think they are now.
No, I don't think
they are.
I don't think they will. Well, we'll see. I'd be surprised if you saw Vincent.
I think you'll see a full international back line.
I think you're wrong.
Well, that's part of the fun. And
we'll ask Phil Dowson in 25
I was going to
minutes.
say, you can with the ball.
Just hang around.
So I think it's going to be an absolutely belting game.
I think it's
on
going to
Friday.
be cracking.
Yeah.
I love the relationship with Bedford.
I
I love working at Bedford. I think it's a cracking little ground. I think it'll be interesting to see where Saracens go. I don't think their transition is going to be as smooth as people think it is. I think there's a lot of, I think the likes of Ben Hill and Maritoji have got a lot of work on their hands. Because what we witnessed on Friday,
there was no
coherence.
There was not a great sense of togetherness.
Yeah, which is the thing that I hope we do carry over this season, because that squad
right off of your peril.
Oh, I'm not writing them off.
Not writing them off.
I'm not writing them off.
They're just not.
You know what? There's nothing I like better than a team having a poor pre-season. That normally means they get it right.
Yeah.
So Sarri's going to win it.
It's interesting the video that came out from Saints today about them where they're forward. Belters is involved.
Oh, where they have this thing. You've got to rely on the
thing.
trust thing. You've got to fall
it's
forward.
Craig White, is it, and Belters?
Yes. Yeah. You've got to fall
it's
forward.
Impressive.
I think one thing I would say, and I don't want to run about Sarries too much, but I think you cannot underestimate the loss of Owen Farrell, what he brought to that club. And I put it down to similar to when Johnny Wilkinson was at Toulon and he left and they struggled after that. I think the standards that Owen Farrell brought to that team and led.
But that's a challenge for Saints because
absolutely.
Courtney Law set the standards and Lewis Ludlam set the standards and Alex Waller.
Yeah.
That's what the new generation.
I think the one there, I agree with one aspect, but to me the one that really led the standards on and off the field was Lewis Ludlam.
Yeah,
I think Courtney was a massive flag bearer as a player, and I think when he spoke well in the change room. But I think if you look at what Lewis did in the community and his whole package that he bought, you'll miss them all. But I think Lewis Ludlam is probably the one that had the whole persona around him.
And so therefore, I think there's a lot on Sergeant Wilson. George, I think George has got to, and he's a winning captain.
He's going to do it in.
I did challenge him yesterday to do the whole season again without losing, by the way.
Yeah, quite nice.
He's going to do things his way, which is not going to be the Lewis Ludlam way, but will still be. But he's of that same mind of the community and the wider Saints family, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah. He gets the whole. Which is why he's captain, because they wouldn't have appointed him if he didn't.
And you do see him down at Bedford, and of course there's a Bedford connection in his family.
Yes.
I think his grandfather captained.
He did, yeah.
So I think it's going to be an absolutely cracking game. I think Bedford are going to have some fun. I think we're going to have some fun. I've got the joy of shooting both teams.
Right.
So you're going to run from one end to the other?
I'm going to be running around a bit.
Yeah,
following them. Yes.
Why don't you have a camera at each end and just run between cameras? You want to get stolen.
You can do it, Lennie. You can do it. Yeah, you can do it.
No, I'm the talent. I don't do button pushing. I've been told not to push buttons.
Anyway, thank you, Jen.
Yes,
that's right. We've got a safe show.
You've got a safe show.
Phil Dowson's in an empty studio.
Just telling you.
It's alright, we fed him chocolate cake and lemon drizzle cake.
Well, I've got a load of sandwiches to give him as well. So.
Oh, that's good. And he won't starve this season.
He won't, he'll be alright.
So, thank you, Jen.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having us.
It's been fun.
Yes.
As ever.
See you later in the season.
And Liz and I will talk more later.
Right, so that was, pure professionalism from all parties concerned in that interview yesterday. As you can see, we are now back in our homes to finish off the ladies' Wot Pod. Thanks ever so much to Graham and Lennie. It was just, I listened to them on the Saints show 20 minutes after we finished that, and they were far better behaved than they were with us, Claire. I don't know what it is. They were just like naughty.
Although Graham was still accusing Lennie, Mr. Optimist, of negativity. Harsh, I felt. Gosh. Yes. Yes, Lennie is the most optimistic person about Saints. And then, actually, Graham had to admit that he's never predicted a Saints loss in the 38 years, because we ascertained it was 38 years, that they've been doing the show. So, yes, they were far more professional. But, yeah, we love them dearly.
Yeah, we did have great fun. It was like doing an interview with Stadler and Waldorf off the Muppets.
Yes,
that's
and
all I
Graham
can say.
seemed determined to only have half of himself in the frame. Did you notice? Well, you haven't actually seen it yet. I've edited it. So
no,
Graham keeps
I just noticed
out of the
he was
frame.
very.
So
he was
yes.
very laid back.
He was laid back, very laid back. Well, those chairs are a bit, yes.
Yeah.
So
tremendous fun. Thank you very much, chaps, and we'll look forward to
see
seeing
you on Block B tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah.
They're on the terrace.
So there's no Radio Northampton commentary tomorrow, by the way. No. So they're going to enjoy it as spectators. That should be fun for them.
Well, and Graham will be on the right side of the ground for the I don't know what's involved. The start of the game. Before the start of the game, they're going to have a small ceremony by the War Memorial. I don't know what's involved, but I just noticed it in the schedule of events. So Graham will be right by it for once, because normally he's on the opposite side of the ground.
Yeah,
so, we'll all be paying our respects to Edgar Mobbs, of course, who the game is for, which we talked about with. I thought Graham was very restrained.
He was
Mobbs.
Yeah,
he was very restrained. Yes, well done.
Yes, excellent. Right. Yes. So, moving on to other things pertinent to Ladies Wot Pod, can I start with Walking Rugby? Stars of TV now. The other TV, ITV, came and interviewed us last Thursday, and lo and behold, there we were on ITV Anglia West yesterday. So
excellent. Well done to everybody. Well done. Top work. Top work. Yeah. Will you be signing autographs?
No, because you never know whether they're going to be resold on eBay. I'm not entering that malarkey.
Yes, it's very rare that I get asked to sign anything, but I have done. People have come up to me with one of my photographs that they've had printed and said, "Can you sign it?" It's very strange, but yes. So
I doubt if anybody will want me to sign anything. Not even a cheque these days.
Well, given this is my 18th season, I can probably count the fingers of one hand the number of times I've been asked to do it. So it's not it doesn't happen very often.
So Walking Rugby, it's on tonight, 5:30, 6 o'clock down the barn. It's a high performance centre. And it, as everybody said, including me, really friendly bunch of people. So if you want to come and give it a go, more than welcome. Your first go is free, I think. So yeah, let us know.
Well, and congratulations to everybody, because Walking Rugby has grown from a very tiny acorn into something really significant.
To a slightly bigger acorn. Let's be honest, it is getting there, but it's
Yeah, but it's holding its own. It's holding its own, and it's regionally recognised, which is great. So well done to everybody. Talking of being recognised.
Yes. What happened to you last night?
What happened to me last night?
In Corby.
So I met the lovely Keith Fountain and his wife.
Oh yes.
And I saw the van, and we had a photo. And more of that.
Best explain about the van, I think, at this point.
So Keith Fountain, well, we did explain a little bit with Graham and Lennie. Keith Fountain owns a company his van's much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And so, it's like, so we had the trophy lift, actually, we can talk about. Are you ready, Liz? This photo here This photo here is on the back of Keith's van. This is the photo I took after the final, and Keith wrote to me saying he realised that it was a commercial use of my photo, so it was really good, and he made a lovely donation, and he had his van customised. So it now has the trophy lift, and even better, it has my logo on it, which is great.
That's brilliant.
Because then people know who took it and know where to get it from. He has said he's had a lot of people come up to him and talk to him about it, which is just brilliant.
That's fantastic.
And so the wheelchair guys were really pleased to meet him, and he sat and watched Wheelchair Rugby. So he and his wife were mesmerised by what was going on. I was baffled because they were doing some training routine that Phil Guttridge was leading, and it seemed to involve shouting numbers and wheeling your chair up and down very quickly. So, yes, I think I got it in the end. But anyway, yes. So, and then at the end of the session, well, it wasn't the end of their session. I finished taking photographs. I was asked to come and meet the players in a circle in the middle of the court. Oh, what's going on here? And they made the presentation. And here is what they presented me with, which is the most... Oh, well, let's even get it flat. It is the most delightful
awesome
thing. It is the most delightful thing, featuring the best red hat. Phil apologised because it's a bobble hat. It's the winter version, I pointed out. But I'm so pleased because I love supporting these guys, and everyone who buys a photo, it's these guys who benefit from it. So, And
did you get to touch your mosh?
Well, yeah, I managed
because
to
I had predicted you would,
but I did sit in the car and get a little emotional because I love them dearly, and they're just a wonderful bunch. But Phil Guttridge, you are still a media tart.
Oh yeah,
he didn't let me down.
Yeah, good.
So
good.
Well, we've shown the next thing that we wanted to talk about, haven't we?
Yes, we have. This rather delightful tome that... Oh, there we go. I was struggle there.
You've now disappeared.
I know. That's probably best. There we go.
Yes.
That's it.
It's
absolutely.
It's mega. It's absolutely mega.
Some awesome photos in there.
Yes. You need to go a bit that way. There you go. The lovely Mr. Darton and Mr. Vesti on the bus.
Yeah. On the bus.
On the bus, and then on the back you've got the gag.
Just it. Yeah.
Stuart McCulloch, I don't know who you are, but he wrote most of the text and edited it, and it even features Graham. Look, here's Graham. Photo I took of Graham at Twickenham.
Yeah. The dinner.
I tell you who loves this photo. Oh, well, let's see if we can get it together.
Yeah, you see
this one, Curtis.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the main trophy lift photo, he's disappeared a bit.
Yes.
So he's very happy in this one. But it is a great story, and I think the reason I like it so much is it features every player, but it also features things that happen throughout the season. So here's us at Croke Park.
Oh yes,
Lewis trying out his new camera, which I had to help him with. They met, of course, Mr. Robinson, Stuart Robinson, I think his name was, who is the groundsman at Croke Park, and they tried out. It looked like weapons to me. Various Gaelic sports, hurling and the like. But it's just brilliant. And it's beautifully put together.
It is an absolute treat. If you haven't got a copy, get one, because
it's a great Christmas present for a Saints supporter. It's not just my photography. It features, obviously a lot of it is my photography, but it features Getty and Adam Gums, and I think Ketton's in here as well. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. I think
so.
James Fitchew.
James Fitchew,
because he's obviously Loughborough's. But it is it's a wonderful memory of what happened last season. Here we go. Look at that.
And it just will bring a smile to your face, I think. It's So when we have dark days in the coming season, which I'm sure we will have days
We'll have days
where it
we
all
go,
goes wrong,
what is going on
just
here?
go back and look at, there were dark days last season as well as the sunny days. So
Yeah.
worth every penny. I'm trying to, I don't know whether to just go and binge read it, or at the moment I'm just dipping like an expensive box of chocolates. That's what I'm viewing
It
it at
is,
the moment.
and it's as I say, it's beautifully done. The club
is.
did one in 2014, which was great, but I hate to say it, this is even better.
This is
because it features every player with a little bit of a story, and it just gets the feel of the season. It here we go. There was me last night when we were talking to Graham and Lennie. Oh, let's go. There is George scoring his try. Behind him.
Oh, is the serried ranks?
Here we go. There we go. Here is a member of the Blues faithful in the background. There you go. Yeah. So it's a great. I think it's good for dipping myself.
Yes, I think dipping.
End of season dinner with a cup of tea and a biscuit. And neither of us are on commission, so we don't make any money out of this at all. No. It's something for the love. So there you go.
It is. It is beautiful. I'm going on holiday next week. I think I'll take it with me. Because I think it just,
So, Tog Corner. Should we do Tog Corner yet?
Tog Corner. Well, being as we've discussed that, do Tog Corner.
Yeah, so Tog Corner, I tried an experiment at the weekend with a remote camera. Didn't work. Didn't work.
Even with the thingy.
No, it was more the location of it. So I need to talk to Liz. It was in the way, and it got moved, and I ended up with all sorts of very strange things, and then it just stopped working. So, so we need to think again, which is a bit sad. I will get there. I'm not giving up that easily because I know the photo I want to get. Photos of the run out of celebrations of the tries being scored and that sort of stuff. What I definitely know is it'll only work when I'm at one end. It's too far. I'm too far away to trigger it from the far end of the ground. So that's a good piece of, You
need an assistant.
What, just pushing away when they push the button?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not suggesting me because obviously, as you've told me, I do not push buttons.
No, and I don't think the IT department want to leave their seats. So no, I think we have to go
down
the remote route.
We're too far away anyway.
We have to go down the remote route. But one of the things I got a photo of was this.
Oh yes.
This character. I don't think we've ever had a 6'5" Bernie before. So
no.
Yes. So of course, for those of you who haven't caught up, he's actually a reporter from the Daily Telegraph. And so when we talked to Liz last week, saying, what's the weirdest thing you've ever been asked by the press?
Yeah, this was it.
I think this is up there. And she did say, well, I couldn't really tell you because it would spoil the surprise. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, there was Bernie melting.
He's written a cracking article that even if it is in the Daily Telegraph, it's worth tracking it down and seeing if you can get it. If you could get it for free, brilliant. But the club comes out in very good light, and Finn Smith, who fist bumped him, so he was happy.
Yes, and made his day. So yes, so Photography Corner was a sort of mixed success. Liz has written her match report, which is on the Saints supporters site, featuring some of my photography, which I was. And for once, well done, guys. James Ram scored in front of me. Will Glister scored in front of me. Wee Trev was under a pile of bodies. Sorry, Wee Trev. I could, but...
Oh, poor chap. That's Robbie. Robbie
Smith, for those of you who haven't... Yes, Wee Trev. Well, they are acceptable, the two of them. So, and best facials of the day went to Josh Kemeny. I can see I'm going to have a lot of fun with him, who ran straight at me. He's learned already to run straight at the hat. So well done him. And the facials were just awesome.
I don't think we've seen facials like that since a certain now director of rugby was playing.
And you wonder whether he was recruited on the basis partly of his facials.
Yeah, possibly.
The mad axe murderer look.
Yeah. Yes, always looked like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I was going,
yes. So, yeah. So thank you, Liz, for using my photos. They look really good in your article. They're really, really good. And I'm back out tomorrow. As I said earlier, I'm doing both teams.
How are you going to be both ends at once then?
Oh, magic. No, probably what I will do is I will see how the game is flowing. I'll sit at one end. I'll probably do Saints attack the first part of each half. Don't know, I haven't decided yet. I'll definitely have to do both warm-ups, which means a lot of walking up and down the touchline.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. Last time I ended up stood on with C Block giving me a bit of chat in midfield because Bedford in the latter stages of that game were under the cosh a bit, so I basically moved to midfield to get restarts and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, as I said yesterday, I think it's going to be a good game. I think we're going to have some fun.
I think so. I think it will be. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure Bedford will play like they played at the beginning against Saracens, which was impressive. Impressive. I hope we play better than Saracens played.
Well, yes, I think less bickering in midfield and annoying the referee would be,
would be useful.
Start. Yes.
There was a lot of pointing going on, a lot of effing and jeffing and pointing at people. I don't like to see that.
It was all a bit. Yeah, it was a bit.
Well, I say I don't like to see that. It didn't bother me because it was Saracens, but.
But yeah, no. Mikey Raya and Tom Cruise had really got the Bedford boys up for it. So it's gonna be fun. Mikey's a cool customer. He knows what he's doing. So, and Sherpa 2 will be coming to the Gardens again professionally, of course.
Oh, excellent! Yes. Yeah.
So I need to get hold of him today. Find out if there's anything specific that he wants. Lizzie noticed that there is a new hat.
Yes.
Very much like the old hat, because it is the same as the old hat, but it's red.
Just less faded.
Rather than the washed out pink that the other one had become. So, yes. Good spot, Lizzie, at training. I think the hot news of the week is Towcester under 10s, isn't it?
Towcester under 10s in their training session. And, I forgot to say that they were practicing forming up a front row. They were being trained in that.
Is Harry in the front row? He doesn't strike me as a front row.
No, he's not a natural prop, I have to say. But they did give them all a go. I was watching and I was wincing a bit because it was, with the best intention, it was former backs showing them how to do a front row. And it was all a bit, no.
They needed Fergs or Tom Cruise.
They did need Fergs, yeah. Or somebody with some knowledge. But I don't want to criticise because the coaches do a fantastic job, but it was just a bit. But no, I don't think Harry scored a try and took the ball into contact. I was very impressed with him. He was, and more of that.
Yes, and now we have a report from Harry.
We do. Yeah. Okay, Harry Knight, we're here at Towcestrians, and you have what have you just done?
I just scored a really good try.
Would you like to talk me through that try, please?
Yes, I was running and there was people everywhere and they kept on grabbing me, but I got through it and scored in a very, very good try.
Brilliant. And what did your coaches say?
They said, if I can talk a bit more on the pitch, I can most possibly become a very, very good rugby player.
Well done, Harry. Thank you very much.
Well done, Harry. Yes. I did like the interviewing style there by Granny.
Did you like
very
that?
Good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. He was so proud of himself, and I just thought, wow, you can talk me through it on camera, on film, well, on my phone, and we'll use that. He's the first male player to be on our pod.
Yes. First male
Well
player.
done,
Well done,
Harry.
Harry. Well done, Harry, and well done, Towcester under 10s. He explained it
Yes.
very well there. Very well.
Good.
Very
And
well.
the under 7s were playing tag rugby with tags, and that looked. It's watching them progress through the age groups. So the under 10s is a little more, well, it is more structured, but it's still a bit of the swarm. They don't get the idea of space, so they're just following the ball, spread out. In a bunch, then carry on. And the under 7s are still just, it's like trying to herd cats, pretty much. But yeah. But yeah, they were having fun. They had good fun. They all seemed to
loads
enjoy
of fun.
it.
That's the main thing. Yeah,
It's the
they
most
had loads
important
of
thing
fun.
at this stage. So yeah. So well done, Toaster.
Excellent. So we this weekend, obviously Bedford we've talked about with their Saracens game. We've talked about Saints. We need to talk about the women. But first off, we need to send a lot of love to Emma Wassell. Oh, bless her heart.
Poor lamb.
She's had a shocking year, what with one thing and another. And now we learn that she has a tumour in her chest. So we send all our love to Emma.
All our love.
Yeah. Keep fighting, young lady. And if there's anything the ladies Wot Pod can do, let us know.
Yeah. Don't know what, but yeah.
Emergency.
So lots of love,
it could
Emma.
be emergency, a lemon drizzle. You never know.
If that's anything, any cake needs.
I don't think my button pressing is really going to help here.
No, cake needs. Just let us know, ladies. Yeah.
So get well soon, Emma. Lily Eves Campion, who came on the pod and was fantastic, made her debut for England.
Yeah, brilliant.
Gosh, well done. And England had a convincing victory against a rather poor France, it has to be said. I don't know what was going on there, but England powered their way to victory.
They're French and they were away from home. Is probably just the explanation you need,
the women
really.
As well as the men. Okay.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah. Every French team you've ever known.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Scotland are on fire. And another person who came on the pod, Helen Nelson. My God. Imperious, I think is the word I would use. She was on fire. So well done, Rachel Malcolm and the team. A really convincing win against Wales at the magnificent Hive Stadium. I do love that stadium. It's so small. It's not actually that small, but it's lovely. And they're heading to South Africa. So for the WXV, whilst England head to Canada for their WXV. So congratulations all. I'm not sure. Is there another game? There might be another game before they go, but I must admit.
I don't know.
All over the show. I don't know if you caught, Liz, the King met the Blackburns.
I did. I wanted to mention, I was showing that to the IT department this morning. Oh, that is just so wholesome. I can't get over that. Yeah.
We didn't mean to tackle you. The King met the Blackburns at some palace or other, and they asked if they could hug him, and then realised they got a bit overzealous, so apologise for tackling him. So if you have a look on the socials, it's absolutely delightful. The King, of course. I mean, this is a man who was once cuddled by the 3 degrees, so he's well used to being, cuddled by random women.
I mean, I think, speaking from experience, if you're cuddled by a rugby player of possibly any gender, you stay cuddled for quite a long time. I feel.
You remember it. Yes.
Yes. And but it is just so. I was going to say so lovely to see. He thought it was a blast. When it's laughing so much. It's
well done, the
brilliant.
Blackburns. Yes.
Yeah, well done.
Well done, the Blackburns.
And the King. Well done, the King.
Top man, yes. Yeah. I can't imagine his mother doing that. Anyway.
No.
Meanwhile, Loughborough.
Wow.
On fire at Sale. Ladies.
Fantastic result.
Yeah, 5 debuts. Yeah, magnificent win away from home.
Yeah.
So brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to see them. I think the first game I get to is the first PWR game, which is Bristol Bears. And, they're playing like that. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I know Nathan Smith, who I mentioned earlier, who was at training the other day, is delighted, particularly with their attack. So, yeah.
Well, it strikes me they've managed to take the form they were starting to show at the end of last season. They've built on that and taken it forward, which looks really. I'm looking forward to seeing them as well because thoroughly enjoy their games.
Absolutely cracking. So, well done, ladies. Top work, and hopefully see you soon at the Gardens. And you were out haloing.
I was haloing. Yes, we had some new halos. I was with a brand new halo, Laura. Hi, Laura. She was brilliant. She was born to it. She thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd got my map as usual. Have a map. I can help if you're lost. I've still got a map even if you're not. It was sort of pretty much my argument. Great fun. Yeah, it was a nice start for a new Halo because 9,000 people was, we never got overwhelmed. You don't felt, there's too many people coming at us. So it's really good.
Most people knew where they were going anyway. So
there
were only a few newbies who,
surprising. I have to say, a surprising number of newbies. We've just
season tickets have gone that well.
Yeah, it's really good. Really
well
lovely.
Done, everybody in commercial.
Dr. T, the IT department, was left in charge of the cup.
I know. I got a text message from him saying, "Look what I've been left in charge of." I was like, "Oh my god, we're in trouble now." But no, he had an absolute blast. He was either taking photos or he had an absolute ball. So yes, he was very pleased. And he loves being a Halo. So
I think being a Halo, if you like chatting to people you've never met before, being a Halo is the way forward. Also, it gives you a chance to meet loads of people that you know. I sort of kept being rugby tackled by various friends that I hadn't seen since the end of last season, basically.
It's hardly a long time, but
no. But it was good. Yeah. So it's really good. So if anybody wants more details about Halos, wants to become a Halo, just drop a message or in the comments below or email the Saint Supporters Club on their Northampton ssc@outlook.com and we will let you know.
Brilliant.
So the more the merrier.
Brilliant. Utterly brilliant. So, yes, episode 38. Has been an absolute belter. Looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at the Mob Memorial game. Very excited.
Yeah.
And the build-up to the season has really begun. Episode 39 will be a standard episode.
It will be, yeah. Well, it won't be standard because I'll be phoning it in from Cornwall.
Well, that's true. But we'll be no guests. We'll be talking about the game, the build-up to Bath, and here we go.
As Fergus
about that shiny pot because Mr. Dowson.
No, we're not allowed to talk about
the shiny pot.
No, it'll be as Fergus described us as just like two old blokes chatting down the pub. Again,
we're back to chatting down the pub again. So, thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Graham and Lennie. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, one and all, and we will see you next week. Come and say hello to us on Friday. Find me haloing, find Claire red hatting, because we love it when people go, "Oh, we listen to your pod."
Yes, and do spread the word, subscribe. Thank you to everybody who has. The more, the merrier. And if you've got any ideas for the pod, guests that you might want in the future, of course, we've got the break in November, so give us a shout. And
thank you.
See you all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.